On a perfectly normal day in Hong Kong, everything was going fine until suddenly, without any warning, a massive tsunami struck the city. The water began to rise at a terrifying speed, flooding the streets, invading homes, and people ran around like crazy trying to find safety. But unfortunately, the water was much faster than they were. Only those who managed to climb to very high floors survived. The rest, may God have mercy on them. 5 years after the disaster, Asha still wakes up every day from nightmares, reliving the fear and terror she experienced. But every morning, she forces herself to forget her fear and carry on with her life as if nothing happened. We see that she lives in a tall, half-collapsed building, hiding inside her apartment, which she has filled with secret hiding spots everywhere. Ever since the disaster, she's been collecting whatever things the water didn't manage to take away, hiding them in strange places, like a hole under the couch. Every morning, she goes up to the rooftop to get some clean water from a secret spot she keeps hidden. After a cup of tea, she listens to the radio, but not the government broadcasts that talk about a refugee full of supplies. No, she prefers listening to music, using headphones so she won't make noise and get noticed. Then she takes a towel and gathers dew from the rooftop, storing it in her water tank. She keeps checking the bottles to see how much is left, anxiety growing, because it hasn't rained in a long time. When she's done with her chores, she sits down to eat noodles, remembering the old days when she used to dine in fancy restaurants with her friends. Oh, those were the days. Then we see her using her binoculars to look at the world around her, seeing only the tops of buildings sticking out of the water. Sometimes, a whole building suddenly collapses. She also watches her few remaining neighbors who are still alive. There aren't many of them left. Suddenly, she sees a box floating on the water. She rushes to a window she had prepared, equipped with a special fishing rod she built to catch anything that drifts by. When she casts the line, she hooks the box, but something under the water starts pulling it back so hard that she gets slammed against the glass and cuts her arm. But Asha doesn't panic. She ignores the pain and keeps fighting. When the creature finally lets go, she pulls the box inside, but before she can celebrate, that creature sends a huge wave crashing against her apartment. When she opens the box, it's full of useless junk, nothing valuable. However, she finds a bottle of alcohol, which she uses to disinfect her wound before bandaging it. That night, while she's sitting quietly, she hears screaming and sees 2 boats full of people attacking the nearby neighbors. A man standing on another rooftop looks straight at her, so Asha hides immediately. When she looks again, she notices that one of the boats seems to be heading toward her building. She quickly hides her belongings, tidies the bed, and scatters dust on the floor so it looks like no one lives there. Then she slips into a secret hiding spot inside her wardrobe and stays completely silent. The gang breaks in, searching for food. They rummage through every corner, even opening the wardrobe she's hiding in, but thankfully, they don't see her. Suddenly, a gunshot startles her. One of the men thought he saw something and fired, but it was a false alarm. When the gang finally leaves, Asha breaks down crying, trying to calm herself by thinking about something pleasant, like the day before the tsunami. The next day, while scavenging, she finds an old box filled with things from before and is happy to find a jar of honey. But her joy doesn't last. She sees a corpse floating in the water. While she's distracted, someone sneaks into her apartment and starts searching for her hiding spots. Asha doesn't notice anything at first and tries to ignore the noises. But later, as she's getting ready for bed, she hears another sound. She grabs her flashlight and cautiously goes to check again, but she finds nothing. Later, she washes her face and deliberately leaves the soap out in the open, hoping it might help her catch whoever is sneaking around. Sure enough, she discovers a little girl hiding inside her apartment. Asha grabs the girl by the shoulder to ask what's going on, but the girl kicks her, breaks free, and runs, taking a few things with her, including the flashlight Asha had made. The girl wanders down the corridor and almost opens a strange door before Asha catches up. The girl bolts again and disappears. The next morning, Asha notices that some of her stored food is missing. She follows a trail of empty wrappers on the floor until she finds the girl sleeping, still holding the flashlight. Asha doesn't wake her, she just quietly goes to make food. When the girl wakes up, she starts poking around new hiding spots in the apartment, looking for more stuff. She finds a socket cover hiding an envelope with old photos of Asha and her sister. Suddenly, Asha walks in. The girl panics and runs, while Asha hurriedly gathers the photos and puts them back, not realizing one photo has fallen. Later, Asha cooks noodles again and brings the food to the girl, her mind flashing back to her sister's birthday. That night, her parents gave her sister a necklace. Asha, being the older one, felt it should have been hers. Angry, she fought with her mother and stormed out of the house. Back in the present, Asha now has that necklace, but the girl refuses to eat and leaves. Asha leaves the food where it is, and after a while, the girl comes back and eats everything. When she finds that Asha left her a mattress to sleep on, she decides to return all the things she stole. The next day, Asha makes 2 bowls of noodles and leaves one for the girl to eat on the rooftop. The girl quickly climbs up and starts imitating Asha as she collects water. They both laugh, and that laughter brings back warm memories for Asha of happier days, when the world was still okay. That night, the girl decides to sleep on the second mattress, close to Asha. She cries softly, and Asha tells her, "It's okay to cry. It's okay to be afraid. We all get scared." The girl says she misses her family and is sure she'll see her mother soon. She's building a boat to go find her. She introduces herself. Her name is Hai Hai. After a rough night filled with nightmares, Asha takes Hai up to the rooftop, and they start spending every day together. Hai was playing with the door. She peeled off the tape Asha had used to keep it from locking, and the door shut behind them. They couldn't open it from the outside. Asha got upset, but Hai surprised her. She actually knew how to pick locks, and she opened the door in seconds. Later, while Asha was cooking, she suddenly noticed that her necklace was missing. At the same moment, she heard noises. She looked out the window and saw that the gang had come back. She quickly told Hai to stay quiet and hide until they were gone. When the gang finally left, Asha protected Hai, and the girl asked her, "Can't we escape together?" But Asha refused, saying, "This is my home. Nothing is waiting for me out there anyway." Then she asked Hai if she had taken the necklace, but Hai said no. Hurt and angry, she ran off. That night, Asha sat alone and noticed the water level had dropped. When she went to check, she found that Hai had used the water to wash her clothes. That moment reminded her of the day she heard that a tsunami was coming to a nearby country, and of the fight she had with her mother, who wanted her to marry an Asian man, while Asha had an English boyfriend. That same night, Asha's nightmares got worse. She saw countless corpses floating in the water. When she woke up, she realized she had started confusing Hai with her sister. A little later, she showed Hai how to use the electricity in the building, but the girl paused and asked about the door at the end of the hallway. Asha told her to stay away from it. Behind that door is a room that smells awful. If we open it, the whole place will stink. That brought back another memory, a time when Asha was watching the news, and the reporter said Singapore had completely sunk under floods. Her mother turned off the TV and told everyone to focus on the upcoming dinner party. But Asha didn't go. They fought again, and she told her family she felt suffocated before storming out of the house. Back in the present, Hai was listening to the radio when she suddenly heard a message about a safe place. She ran to Asha, urging, "Let's go there." But Asha refused, saying it was too dangerous to leave their shelter. They argued until Hai shouted, "You're a coward," and stormed off. Asha ran after her and found Hai building a raft out of old materials. She had also found a flare gun. Asha quickly grabbed it and confessed a secret. She had actually tried to escape once before, but the world outside was terrifying, so she came back immediately. After making peace with Hai, another memory hit her. The day her sister ran after her during a family fight, begging her not to leave. Asha said she had to go, but promised they'd see each other again. The next day, it finally rained. Asha and Hai rushed to the roof, collecting and storing as much water as they could. While working, Hai noticed that Asha's necklace had fallen, and Asha found an old photo she'd lost long ago. Hai comforted her, saying, "We have each other. That's what matters." That night, when Asha went to bed, she found a surprise under her pillow. The necklace. It had just fallen earlier, but its clasp was broken. Asha felt a deep pang of guilt for how harsh she'd been with Hai. The next morning, she woke up and began building a real boat. When Hai saw it, she was overjoyed. Asha then remembered the fight with her sister, how her sister had been trying to tell her that she had put the necklace in Asha's jacket pocket, but before she could explain, people suddenly started running and screaming. A massive tsunami was approaching, swallowing the streets. Back to the present, Asha decided to give Hai the necklace as a gift. Together, they gathered supplies and loaded them onto the raft, preparing to leave. Hai was listening to the radio when suddenly the headphones disconnected, and loud music blasted through the speakers. Asha rushed to turn it off, but it was too late. The gang outside had heard the noise. Panic struck. They started hiding everything quickly. Asha hid Hai inside the secret compartment behind the wall inside the closet. Only one person could fit there. Then she herself hid in the foul-smelling room. The gang climbed in through the window. Asha barely managed to slip into the stinking room in time, and there, she found old photos of her family. That's when she realized this was actually the same apartment she had lived in years ago. This time, the gang was much more violent. They smashed everything in sight. One of them entered the smelly room, gagging from the stench, but kept searching anyway. He pulled off some old sheets, and to his horror, discovered the rotting corpses of Ash's parents. The sight was so revolting that he backed away in disgust. Asha, too, was nearly sick with grief and horror, her mind flashing back to that terrible day when the flood took everything, when people were pushing each other desperately to survive. She remembered grabbing her sister and running into a building. They ran up the stairs, crowds of terrified people behind them, all fighting to get higher. Back to the present, the gang stole all the food and started going through Ash's old photos. One of them noticed something strange about the closet. He called the others, and together they broke through the fake wall and found Hai hiding inside. Asha was still in the reeking room, frozen in terror, hearing everything. Her mind spiraled back to the past again, to that moment on the stairs, when her sister tripped and fell. People trampled over her without realizing. Asha, terrified, kept running up, not noticing that her sister had vanished in the chaos. When she finally reached the rooftop, she thought everything was fine, unaware that she had lost her sister forever. Suddenly, in the present, Asha heard Hai crying out in fear, accidentally revealing her hiding spot to the gang. They caught her immediately. The shock made Asha faint. When she came to, she found herself tied up, and one of the gang members was trying to assault her, but their leader intervened and told him to leave her. Then they took Hai and all the supplies, dragging Asha onto their boat as well. When Asha saw Hai, she suddenly remembered her sister and felt deep inside that this time, she wasn't going to let it happen again. She tried to untie the rope, but the man pulled it hard, and she fell into the water. Luckily, there was a broken cylinder nearby that she used to hit him with. The man got angry and tried to drown her, but after a short struggle, she managed to grab the flare gun from her pocket and shot him, killing him instantly. The gang heard the gunshot and rushed back into the building looking for her, but they couldn't find her. When they split up to search, one huge guy heard Asha crying and followed the sound, but it was a trap. Asha had set up a slippery rope trap, and he fell immediately. She grabbed a piece of metal and smashed it over his head until he stopped moving. Then she quickly ran into another room and turned on the radio. Another gang member heard the sound and came to investigate. She surprised him from behind and stabbed him with a knife. But the man was strong. He got up again, started hitting her, and threw her onto the mattress, trying to strangle her. Luckily, she managed to grab the knife again and stabbed him several times until he stopped moving completely. Then, a woman from the gang heard the noise and found a box with fire burning inside. Asha took advantage of the moment, splashed her with oil, pushed her into another room, locked the door, and left her to burn inside. The gang leader heard the screaming and rushed upstairs. As soon as he reached the top of the stairs, Asha jumped on him and started stabbing him. They fought fiercely. He hit her several times and tried to strangle her, but Asha grabbed a neon light from the wall, broke it over his head, and kept hitting him until he died. She left him in the dark. When she turned on her flashlight, suddenly one of the gang members appeared and started shooting at her. Asha ran to the roof, and the guy followed her. As soon as he stepped out, she shut the door behind him and trapped him. The boy started begging her to help him, speaking with an innocent voice. Asha almost believed him, but suddenly he started shooting at the door again. She left him there. Now, only one gang member remained, the one on the boat, watching Hai. Asha tried to hit him through the window with a spear-like weapon, but she missed, and the weapon fell into the water. The man leaned over to see what happened, and Hai tried to push him off the boat, but he grabbed her, and they both fell into the sea. Asha panicked and jumped in after them to save them. The man surfaced again, but suddenly, a sea monster appeared and devoured him. After a brief moment of silence, Asha and Hai came back up safely and started swimming toward the boat. They decided to sail off into the ocean, confident that the food and supplies the gang had stolen would be enough to last them until they reached the safe place they had heard about on the radio. That night, Asha slept peacefully for the first time in years, without nightmares.